man, the old TJ. She's been finished for what, Matt?
Month at least.
So it runs phenomenally. I love the T case that's in it, the mini stack. Granted, you can't get them anymore, whatever, but it's awesome. It works great. It's happy on the 42s. The axles are doing great. The suspension that we all swapped out. You know, there's so many new components on this Jeep compared to what it was. It's not even funny. So, downfall. I've not wheeled anything this wheelbase in 8+ years. Everything's been 120 and longer. So it's fixing to get blown back apart again. And when I say blown back apart, the 3-link in the front, the 4-link in the rear, the dual rate coilovers, the coils off of the rear TJ on the back, it's all going in the trash. What it does that sucks, it hops. It's constantly hopping. It's like a giant slinky. The other thing, everything on this Jeep is brand new brake-wise. So calipers, pads, everything from the booster to everything's brand new. So what it does with the fuel injection kit, because this is a 1979 AMC 360 with an MSD fuel injection kit. So what it does is you slam on the brakes, well, then the motor grounds down, and the EFI is going, hey, we're about to die. Spray a little extra fuel, and this son of a bitch will just take off down the obstacle. It's on behind the rocks. It's one of those, it's before high dive. There's another rocky, ledgy section, and I took a far right because I knew it was super steep. Anyway, man, my wife, she was hooping and hollering and screaming. We drug, well, you was there, a big rock we drug clear down, we got stuck on. Anyway, so it does some crazy things. So how I've managed so far is just bumping it in neutral and using the 30% of brakes I actually have, and then bumping it back into drive to carry on or whatever I need to do. So between the wheelbase and the suspension, it's just not going to work. So if you look right, I don't know, Matt's going to put it in a reel or he'll put it here, I don't know. I did a nastier trail here in the basin called White Lightning on Saturday night, and it did not like the clamshell. It did not like any of the big drop-offs. Oh, I had filled my front tires full of water. And the way my math is, I put roughly 500 pounds per tire. So, which I have never ran water before. Now, it was super helpful, but it made it to where all I did was do stoppies, and the ass end was trying to drive over the front end. And whenever I drove, it's got a diesel in it. Anyway, whenever I drove off anything that was I don't care if it was a foot lip, man, it was just so violent coming down because it's just so much weight pulling it down. So I wound up taking half. They're only about right there full of fluid right now. Seems a little better. I haven't got to go wheel it yet, but I'm going to taking the whole 4-link out, the whole 3-link out. We're going to stretch it in the front. We're going to stretch it as far as we can in the rear. It should be 120 plus. And yes, I know everyone's probably thinking like, oh, 109 or 110 or 108. No. For the way I drive, the way I wheel, the way I'm going to have this set up, I want 120 to 125 is what I am comfortable with. That's what I want to be. So we're going to do some really cool lower arms that are going to wind up being it's a 2-inch 250 wall. That way I'm not bending those bastards. I'm not going to have any issues with them. And then I'm going to so I've got some Fox 2.0s, not the 2.5, the 2.0s, that I a friend of mine gave me off his buggy, and we're gonna take the slinkies out of this thing. Man, there's not gonna be any coilovers anywhere. It's gonna be full air. I think I'm gonna drop the ride height maybe a couple inches, nothing crazy. And yes, you're not wrong. It's gonna make the drivability a little worse. It's gonna make it a little rougher riding. But this thing is not street legal. It's gonna be, I don't know, a Heinz 57 Jeep-ish buggy, whatever you want to call it. So I just think it's a better avenue. We've got, what do we got? We got 1 week before the Great American Crawl is here that we have to go help, guide, and be a big part of, which we're super excited for. And this has got to be done by then. So everything should be here sometime this week. This weekend we're going to completely gut this thing, get it stretched where it needs to be. It's not going to be a huge project, I really don't think. You know, between everyone at the shop and friends, I think it's going to go very quick. And then we'll be able to have a better suspension. We'll have more flex out of it. We'll have a better ride height. I mean, I've already bent these lowers. Now, I don't know if they're 1 3/4 inch, but I don't know if they're 120 wall. I don't know what they are, but I bent them in Moab. I bent them on Bronco Buster. I've been pretty nice to it. I've not been beating the absolute dog shit out of it, but I definitely want to use it. It's just for off-roading. It's just for rock crawling. So I want to make sure that I max out what it can do. That's what I want to find out with it. And what I'm maxing out with right now isn't where I plan for it to be. I want this thing to do any local trail here without having any issues whatsoever. So as quick as we get it stretched out a little bit and change up the suspension and all the 4-link, I think it'll just be way happier, and it'll you know, transfer the weight better. It'll stop that hopping BS. It'll just start being a little more planted and not be such a monster truck Jeep. But like I said, I think a lot of the problem seriously is the coils from the TJ in the rear. It's so bouncy, it's unpredictable, it's unreliable, that I think going to a full air is going to be extremely beneficial. So, but I also don't know, because I've never ran full air suspension. You know, I've rode in some buggies and something like that. I know they don't have a lot of up travel, so we'll just have to see where it goes and how it plays out. Worst case scenario, we can always put my dual rates back on. I do have 4, so the options to do that's there. You know, we'll just see what the next chapter is for this thing and move forward. But I mean, I've been beyond happy with the engine. I've been beyond happy with the power plant. It's got plenty of power. It's got enough power to enjoy it, but not enough power to just completely destroy itself. The cooling system's been great. The transmission's been great. T-case has been amazing. Hell, we tipped it over on its back. Oh, and before we touch this thing, and everyone's like, oh, poor shit. Okay, Mickey's hot tub, I dumped it on its butt. There's no damage to my wrap. There's no damage to my wrap. Now, this dent here and this dent here is from me beating on the roof to make it get that contour when we put it on. Now, this and this is a $20 Amazon whip mount. Now, my 5150 whips, they're not, my cups aren't, I mean, it scratched them up, but my cups are fine. They're all fine. It broke this one and it bent that one. So out of that entire ordeal, it cost me 20 bucks. So I'm actually thinking about getting on Amazon and doing a review saying that it's Anarchy Offroad Utah approved, because it saved my bacon. Because if it wasn't for those tabs in the back, I think I would have went clear over, you know. Didn't mess up a flag, didn't mess up a flagpole, didn't mess up anything. So, you know, trial and error. Too short. Too used to driving school buses. We got to go to the school bus lake now. So, we'll see what the end of the weekend looks like when we hopefully are done. Because if I'm not done, we might be guiding in the marketplace special. Because that doesn't deserve a name, that doesn't deserve anything. That literally is just the marketplace special. So I think that's its job until it gets pulled apart. Because I don't want shaded with my business.
Can I smoke a cigarette?
No.
Come on, Brennan, stay there.
God damn, no, dude, I'm not doing it.
Just stay there.
That is the vibe I'm on. Drip way too lit. Who gon' check? You can tell me no.